plenty of pictures. There was the candlesticks in those days, the champion pot, and there's pictures of me in front of the clubhouse on my bedroom wall at home, so I see it pretty regularly. Yeah, so good memories that.
This is obviously, of course, you do very well. What makes this such a great test of golf in your opinion?
There's not a bad hole out there for a kick-off, and there's not an easy shot. You can get into trouble pretty much. If you're playing a great golf, you can get a really good score, but if you're slightly off, the bunkers are there. There's some pretty severe rough, the heather, the gorse. So there's plenty to keep you occupied for every single swing. So I think that's what makes it. That's why it's obviously a great championship course.
You've won twice this year already. How do you feel playing coming into this event this week?
Yeah, I was disappointed last week in Evian because I have been playing pretty well, and then that was a bit of a shock that first round, but came back well with the second round with 68. So I feel like I'm still playing really well.
You're well known for sort of not being a big fan of practice. So what would your sort of preparations entail today and yesterday?
Well, we played the Pro-Am but practiced a couple of hours before, and then because you've got to hit slightly different shots obviously because it's always going to be windy and you're dropping a lot of shots in shorter, so a bit of practice on that, and then this afternoon after this go and practice. I'm not going on the course again, but just a couple of hours of practice. Obviously putting is very important, so do some of that, and got to get up early tomorrow morning. We're off at 7 o'clock, so it'll be a nice early start.
So what time will you be here tomorrow morning?
I'll be here about 6, so get ready. Always an hour before tea time and just warm up and chip and putt.
Laura, this is 26 in a row. So what's your view? You've seen Michelle come into the game at a young age, and obviously Alexis not playing this week. Do you think women are coming in too young, or what's your view on Alexis not having a place? Is that a good thing, bad thing?
Well, she's one of the better golfers in the world now, so it'd be nice if she had been here. I don't really know why she's not. She's young, but sometimes when you're playing really well as young as she is, why not give it a go? I don't really have a personal opinion. I'm sure her parents have got it all in hand, and if she wants to play, she should be allowed to play.
And are you in favour of the age limit on the LPGA Tour as it stands at the moment, or?
To be honest, I have no opinion on it, because if you're good enough, for me, you're good enough. That's just the way it is in tennis and other sports. Just the fact that you're so young is probably a little bit of a bonus, I'd say, because it creates so much excitement for the tour. So personally, let her come and play, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that would disagree with that, but you have to assume that the people around her are doing the right things.
Laura, you say it's good for the tour, but how good is it for her personally? She's not at school and mixing with people who are a lot older than her and just missing out on company of her own age.
Well, the tour life's weird anyway, so whether she turns pro now or turns pro, or she's pro, but whether she plays regularly now or in 4 years' time, you're still sort of in a little circus travelling around the world, so it's not normal. So the fact that it's not normal at 15 or 14 or whatever she is, it's hers and her parents' decision, and if you're good enough, that's all I can say. What a waste not to have maybe she could win the British Open at 15 if she was here this week. How good would that be? Because she nearly won last week, and if you're playing well, you're playing well. I don't think links scores would phase her at all. Links score.
You were 22, 23 or something?
I turned pro when I was 21.
20, okay. I was going to ask you how your preparation has changed all these years out here. What do you do differently when you're preparing for a round? What have you learned?
Nothing, it's just the same. An hour before tea time and no practice rounds because they're so boring and slow. Play the Pro-Am every week, have some fun with your amateurs. That's my build-up to any golf tournament, whether it's the Thailand Open or the US Open, it's always the same.
And how long ago did you dispense with the practice round?
Well, this is my 26th year, so 25 and a half years ago. Watching people chip and putt from every angle on a green for 4 or 5, 6 hours in a day is not my idea of fun. Never has been, never will be.
But you obviously have done it at some point, and there must have been a practice round that suddenly flipped you over the edge and you thought, I'll never do this again.
I did so long ago, I really don't remember. I just know that people chip from 30 spots around one green. I don't understand it, I never have done.
Would you ban them, or what would you do about it?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go and have a practice round, play a round of golf with your mates, have a little bet, and walk off to every green when you hold out on that green. There's no need for all the practice.
Laura, Katrina says she's hardly had any sponsorship, in fact no sponsorship really, except for a 2-week deal last week and this week since she won. How much did you get when you won in 1986, and are you surprised that she's not had more?
Well, I am, especially the way, you know, the sport is at the moment. It seems to be, I mean, obviously economic problems, but there's a lot of good things happening in the game, so I'm very surprised. And she, you know, she's such a nice girl as well. She'd be a good representative for any sponsor. When I won in the British Open and the US Open, the US Open was when it really started. I mean, yeah, I got a sponsor straight away. I was very lucky. Weetabix almost immediately became my sponsor. So at the time, that was, you know, a very good deal.
Do you think Katrina might have to win a major in the US to really cash in?
I don't know. I mean, winning the British Open as a British golfer on front of the world stage, all the cameras from all around the world, I didn't even know that, but I'm very surprised. I think winning another major would be obviously great, but whether it would make a difference if this one didn't work, I really don't know.
Were you surprised that Katrina didn't get in the top 10 of the British sports personality, you know, when they did the shortlist at 10? Did you find that surprising?
Not really. We've never done well in you're talking about the BBC Sports Review, yeah. I mean, the year I won 2 majors, 10 other tournaments, I didn't even finish in the top 3. I think Damon Hill won it that year, 1996. And everyone said I had a good chance of winning it, but I didn't even get mentioned in the programme, I don't think. So I think women's golf to the BBC review of the year just doesn't really figure.
I think that's a bit insulting, isn't it? When she was on the BBC and it was such a big story, the whole Superman thing.
Yeah, I think it's a disgrace myself. I voted for her, you know, I think she should have done it. I've forgotten who actually won it. So,
Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, well, he's obviously magnificent, but I think Katrina, for just that one-off in that given year, he should have won, probably Ryan on the whole career, so it should have been maybe a different prize, but it's the BBC Sports Review of the year, so maybe they should review it.
Does it annoy you that she doesn't get the recognition she deserves, you know, a sort of a Brit winning the home open doesn't get?
Yeah, I mean, if one of the boys wins it, they're virtually knighted overnight. So you know, it's different. It's always been the same. It doesn't worry me, I have to say, and I'm sure it really doesn't worry Katrina. But it's just the sort of thing. It'd be a nice little bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah, but the money must worry her because you think you've hit the jackpot when you win your home open.
I don't think anyone really thinks like that, to be honest with you. I've never won a tournament and thought, oh brilliant, now I'm going to get loads of sponsors. You're so excited you've won the tournament, and then a couple of weeks later the phone starts ringing and you've got a thing to do here and a thing to do there, and that's when he was. But I don't think she would have actually thought, oh, floodgates are open sort of thing, because that doesn't really happen, especially for British sportswomen.
Laura, what are your current thoughts on pace of play, and do you have any suggestions for speeding things up?
I've made my suggestions over the years. Paintball them if they're slow, have a shot for a paintball on your jersey. But you're never going to stop it, because the slow ones don't think they're slow. And when the referees get out there, they speed up, so you never stop it.
Well, we've got lots of world-class British players in the men's game at the moment, but we don't seem to be able to produce them in the ladies' game. Any ideas why that might be?
Because they don't get sponsorship properly. I don't know. I mean, who knows? You've got Melissa Reid, who's playing fantastic, obviously Katrina last year. There are a lot of good young British players just on the fringe of it. I mean, I think Melissa's going to be a really top world-class player in the next 4 or 5 years, because she's got the game, she's got the attitude, very confident, so that might be the one. And hopefully when she starts breaking through, her friends who she's grown up through the amateur ranks with, that's what happens. I think you realise, oh, I could used to beat you, so now you're doing so well. So maybe we'll see something coming off the back of Melissa's good strong play.
It seems like the amateur authorities in the men's game are doing a very good job of bringing their players through. Do you think the amateur bodies in the ladies' game are doing a similarly good job? I'm
sure they are doing a good job, but sometimes, we went quite a long time without having that many really good top young British male players, so perhaps the next generation of young good girls is coming through. Sometimes you just get a decade where you don't get huge amounts of those great players. It goes in waves, I think.
And is the wave of talent coming through from continental Europe as strong as it has been in recent times?
Yeah, I played recently in America, but there's quite a few Spanish girls on the tour that are playing very well, very good ball strikers. Not quite so many young Swedes as there were. See, there's another thing. The Swedes seem to have dropped off a bit. So, like I said, I think sometimes you just get lucky and you get a dearth of talent in one age group.
And do you think it augurs well for the Solheim Cup, the talent that's coming through?
Yeah, I mean, the Solheim Cup's obviously always very difficult because we seem to do so well in the foursomes and fourballs, but we struggle in the singles. That's what we have to. We have to believe as players, and the younger players are going to have to get to learn that very quickly. That the singles is what it's all about, and we have to turn the corner with that. But hopefully, we'll have enough players in the next one in Ireland and after that believe they can beat the Americans. So but they have to learn it early.
Do you ever get fed up with the game? I mean, you say no practice rounds in 26 years and slow play. Do you ever get fed up?
No, not really. There's always I mean, you don't like walking off last Thursday with an 81 like I did in Evian. That's pretty miserable, and missing the cut and flying home Saturday morning, that's miserable. But here we are at Birkdale already. Can't wait till tomorrow morning.